So now we're talking about formatting in Java. So hopefully you had a chance to look at the arithmetic key in and you understand how that works. Now we can talk a little bit about how to get your formatting right and your stuff to look pretty. You'll see that in the key-ins, I have a format example that you can take a look at, run it. And then I have some things that I want you to look at specifically that's listed at the bottom of that key-in. So some important things to note about formatting is that you'll have to include or import these two files from the API. Otherwise, it won't work, and that would be a bummer. So make sure that those two things are imported. And then it's basically a couple lines. So to format the number of decimal places out, like if you want, you know, everything to be rounded to the nearest tenth or to the nearest hundredth or whatever, you simply use this line of code. Decimal format with a capital D and F is a predetermined word. Space. 2 digits is actually my variable name. You could call that whatever you want. If you wanted to, you could call it 1 digit. You could call it tenths place or whatever. Equals is the assignment operator because 2 digits is my variable, equals, and new is a keyword. And again, the decimal format's the same method that I have here as the type. And then in parentheses, notice how I have quotation marks surrounding 0.0. That's my model of how I want to round. So it'll be whatever integer number, a decimal spot, and then however many places I go out. So if I wanted to round to the nearest hundredth, I'd put in 2 zeros like that. If I want to round to the nearest tenth, and it does round. Then later on in your formula, if you want to format it that way, you can use the variable name that you gave it. So notice how these two things, 2 digits, 2 digits, have to match. This is a method selector, so it's just a period, and it means to go to the method called format, which is a keyword. And then in parentheses, you put the variable that you want to format in that way. So for example, if I had some information, 17.9427385, blah, 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 in average, when I put it in this code, we'll round it to however many spaces I've specified up here. So also there's a thing called money format, which will put a nice little dollar sign and it'll round it 2 decimals out. And that's for US. Of course, if you're in another country, you can use that country's code or locale, and it'll put it in yens or, you know, francs or whatever. And how you use that is basically the same exact way, only it's going to be your money format name. So I call mine money format, but that's a variable. Everything in blue is a variable here. It's my own name. I could have called it, you know, my money if I wanted to. Here, my money. That's a variable, so I can call it whatever I want. But whatever I call it, I have to change it, and I have to call it that same thing here as well. And so that's going to be the formatting. Let's see. And then this is the format example that you'll be keying in, where you'll go through and you'll see how these things work. I have 2 digits. I have 1 digit. I didn't put any money on there, but you might want to, oh yeah, I did, right here. You might want to play around with those things a little bit. And then I ask you some questions at the end. I also have another formatting program here just with the money format. And then you can listen to the next video on the math class when you're ready.